method. Okay, we are using a new method known as determinants. We're gonna use determinants to solve the equation. Okay, how do you do it? How to find the determinants? So what are determinants first? Okay, so you are given something like this, two straight lines. You will be given two straight lines. Okay, in these two straight lines there will be terms here. Suppose there is a 1 1, a 1 2, a 1 3. Okay, these will be numbers. I'm just And then A31, A32, A33. You'll have terms like this. Suppose here you have 1, here you have 10, there'll be numbers like this. Okay. There is something known as order of this matrix. Order of this matrix means, how do you find the order? Is see how many rows are there and see how many columns are there. Can you hear me? Anyone, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, you have to find the order of the matrix. How do you find? Is you always see how many rows are there and then you see how many columns are there. How many rows are there? 1, 2, 3. So it will be 3 by, and then how many columns? 1, 2, 3. This is 3 by 3. So the order of this thing is 3 by 3. Okay, if I have something like this, if I say 2 5 10 3, and I say find the order of this matrix, Eduardo,
Yes.
what's the order of this matrix? How many rows are here, Eduardo?
There's 2 rows.
And how many columns?
There's 4.
Columns.
Oh, there's 2.
So the order is 2 by 2. So it's number of rows. You don't multiply, you just write it. This is the way of writing. Number of rows times number of columns. That's how you write the order of the matrix. Example, if I say 1 5 negative 7 and I say find the order of this matrix. Karen,
Yes.
what's the order of this matrix? How many rows?
1.
Rows are like this.
Is 3.
Yes, 3 times. And how many columns? Columns are straight.
1.
So 3 times 1 is the order of this matrix.
Oh.
So this is order. We talked about order. Next thing we're going to talk about is to find the determinants. Let's talk about determinants of 2 by 2 matrix. So first we are talking about determinants of matrix with only four terms. So you have A, B, C and D. I say you have to find the determinants, or if I say evaluate this, it means the same thing. These two straight lines means we are talking about determinants. And I know the order of this thing is 2 by 2 because there is 2 rows, 2 columns. Rows you always see like this, and in columns you see like this. So I found the order of 2 by 2. How do you find it is take the first term. The first term is A, multiply it with its diagonal. D. And then you're going to put a minus sign by yourself. Take the second term and multiply with its diagonal. B, times C. So A times D minus B times C, and that's your determinant. Example, if I say you're given 3, -2, 6, 1, the question says evaluate. When they are saying evaluate, basically see, by these two signs, by these straight lines, I know I have to find my determinant. How do you find determinant for this thing? Take the first term, multiply with its diagonal, so it's 3 times 1, minus sign you're going to put yourself. Take the second term, multiply with its diagonal. So second term is -2 times 6. When I multiply, it becomes 3 minus -2 times 6 is -12, which becomes 3 plus 12, which is 15. So the determinant of this whole thing is 15. Any questions, anyone? For 2 by 2. Let's do example here. One more. Yes, here. Let's do an example. One more example. You have to find the determinant of 6, 4, -1, 3. 6, 4, -1, 3. Shaira,
Yes.
can you find the determinant? How do you find the determinant of this thing?
It is 6 times 3 minus 4 times -1.
4 times -1, which is what?
In plus 4.
What is 6 times 3?
Eight-
18.
18.
-4 times -1?
Equals 4.
Yeah. What do you get total?
22.
22. Correct. Any question, anyone, by 2 by 2 determinant? How to find a 2 by 2 determinant? Okay. So today, so far what we learned is in chapter 11 is solving equations. So you were given two equations, you had to solve them. Either you had to use substitution method or elimination method. Today we are going to use a new method known as Cramer's rule. Cramer's rule. And for this we are only doing for 2 by 2 so far. Right now we'll do by 2 by 2. We'll do 3 by 3 also, but right now we are doing 2 by 2. For this thing you will be given a matrix.
A Cramer's rule, or what is it again? How's it spelled again?
CRAMERS rule. Cramer's rule. So suppose you are given equations. Let me take an equation. So you are given AX plus BY is equal to S, and then you are given CX plus DY is equal to T. These are the two equations. I'm numbering them 1 and 2. You're given these two equations. You have to solve it. You have to solve using Cramer's rule. You have to solve using Cramer's rule. In this case, when you have to find the Cramer's rule, you need three things to find Cramer's rule. So basically, by solving, what they mean, you need to find the value of x and y. By solving, they mean you need to find the value of x and y such that when you plug that value of x and y here, it should come out to be equal to S. When you plug in the same value of x and y here, it should come out to be equal to T. So these are the two equations. But to find those x and y, you need three things. You need to find your d, you need to find your dx, and you need to find your dy. Whenever you find your d, dx and dy, your x is basically whatever you found your dx divided by d, and your y is dy divided by d. But how do we find this d, dx and dy? So we're going to find these are basically determinants. You need to find determinants. Dx, dy, d, dx, dy are basically determinants. How do you find it? D is basically what? Hide this S and T. Hide this S and T and write the coefficients. First, let's take the first equation. Write the coefficient of x, which is a, and the coefficient of y is b. In the second row, write the coefficient of x, which is c, then the coefficient of y, which is d. That's how you find your d. So coefficient of x, since first is x, then coefficient of y, then second row, coefficient of x, coefficient of y. Note, x, y, x, y. These are all x values, these are all y values. Coefficient of x, coefficient of y, coefficient of x, coefficient of y. Now you need to find dx. Note, you have to find dx. That means this x column will change, y will still remain my same. My x column will change, my y will still remain the same. What will x change to? X will change to your right hand side here. So it becomes S and T. This after equal to sign, it changes to this thing. Since I am finding dx, my x will change. So this whole thing, a and c, will change to right hand side, which is S and T. Everything else remains the same. Similarly, dy. Now dy from the original one. So the original one, y means this y term will change. My first term will remain as it is. And what will y row change to? Your right hand side, S and T. Calculate these determinants, plug in this formula, and that's how you find your x and y value. Example. So it says use Cramer's rule to solve, and you have to solve. You're given equations 3x minus 2y is equal to 4. Then you're given 6x plus y is equal to 13. Samantha? Angel? Christopher?
I'm here.
Yeah, Christopher. So you're given these two equations. I need to find my d first. How do I find my d?
You basically cross multiply, so it'd be a times d, and then it's minus b times c.
And what is your a, b, c, d?
Or it's just a on the top left, b on the top right.
Yeah, what's
C
your a?
on-
Look at here and tell me what's my a.
Say that again?
Look at these two equations and tell me what's my a.
Oh, 3x.
Just 3. Okay. What's my b?
That's 2y.
Negative 2. And what's my, again, x?
6
And then
and 1.
1. Correct. Okay, I need to find the determinant of this thing. How do I find it?
Cross multiply from that one.
Okay, what do you get?
So it's 3 times 1 minus negative 2 times negative 6, or just positive 6.
Okay. When you do it, what do you get? 3
So that'd be 15.
plus 12, which is 15. Correct. Can you tell me how to find my dx?
Since you found your d, do you plug it into the top equation?
No, not yet. How do you find your dx is, so this first column, what is it showing? This first column,
It's showing x's.
and the second is showing y's, right? I'm finding dx. That means my x will change, my y will still remain the same. So negative to 1 will remain the same. What will my x change to? It will change to the right hand side here.
I would change to 4 and 13.
Yes, 4 and 13. Now find the value and tell me what you get.
Okay, so then that's 4 times 1 minus negative 2 times 13.
Comes out to be?
It's going to be 30.
Good, correct. Now I need to find dy. How do I find my dy?
So then the x's would be 3 and 6, and then the y's would be 4 and 13.
Absolutely correct.
So then it's 3 times 13 minus 4 times 6.
Okay. Which is equal to?
So it's 5. Or, what am I talking about?
15.
15.
Yeah.
My bad.
I was like, oh wow, I'm wrong. Maybe it's like I was checking. It's like, okay. You need to find x and then you need to find y. What's your x?
So your x is dx divided by d. So that would be 30 divided by 15.
Which is?
Which would be 2.
Correct. And y?
Your y is dy divided by d. So it'd be 15 divided by 15. Which is 1.
1. So your answer is 2, comma. Good, Christopher. Any questions?
That it?
Yeah. Do you have questions? Anyone has any questions?
Maybe more of these problems.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, we'll be doing. Let me give you one more example here. Try this. So let's see here. So you are given x plus y is equal to 8. You are given x minus y is equal to 4. You have to use Cramer's rule to solve these equations. Cramer's rule is the easiest of the 3 methods: elimination, addition, and Cramer's rule. If you have to do, I would suggest you to do Cramer's rule. Cramer's rule is one of the easiest methods to do. Try this problem by yourself. You have to solve using Cramer's rule. Joshua?
Yeah.
Okay, Joshua. Let's see this one. How do you do it?
So the first block would be 1, 1, 1, negative 1.
Absolutely correct. And how do I find the determinant?
What?
How do I find the determinant? Find the determinant of this thing.
Oh. It would be 1 times 1 minus...
No, 1 times the diagonal.
Oh, 1 times negative 1.
Okay, minus.
1 times 1.
Okay, so what do you get?
Negative 1 minus 1, negative 2.
Perfect. Now, next I need to find is dx. How do I find my dx?
Dx would be 8, 1, 4, negative 1.
That's correct. And when you solve, what do you get?
8 times negative 1 minus 1 times 4.
Absolutely correct. So when you solve, what do you get?
Negative 12.
Yes, correct. Negative 12. Then I need to find dy.
Yeah. That would be 1, 8, 1, 4.
Yes, correct. When you solve, what do you get?
1 times 4 minus 8, negative 4.
Yeah. So you get what?
Oh, negative 4.
Negative 4. Correct. Now I need to find my x. How do I find my x?
X equals dx over d and x equals dy over d.
Okay. And so wait, what is dx divided by d?
It would be negative 12 over -2,
Yes, which comes out to be
6,
okay. dy over d.
-4 over -2.
Yeah, which is
Yeah, -2. Oh, sorry, 2.
2. So basically you get 6 comma 2. Really good, Joshua. Really, really good. Any questions, anyone? How to use Kramer's rule to solve? Okay. So far what we are doing is, we did is 2 by 2 matrix. We did 2 by 2 matrix. But there is something known as 3 by 3 matrix now. So you need to know first how to use for determinants for 3 by 3. So you will be given a matrix like this. Now there will be 3 rows and 3 columns. So you will have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Suppose you have this thing 3 by 3. Was 3 rows and 3 columns. So this is a 3 by 3 matrix. Now you have to find determinants of this thing. Note, you can make to yourself. In this case, first you have to find the determinant, you have to consider any row, any column. You decide which row, which column you have to choose. Okay. First step is always to choose a row or a column of your choice. Note, it is suggested to choose a row or a column with maximum number of zeros. It is usually suggested, you can choose anything you want. It's not compulsory you have to choose with maximum zeros. You can choose anything you want. But I would suggest you to choose rows or columns with zeros, maximum zeros, if there are. The reason it will make your calculations much more easier. 0 just makes your calculation much more easier. So how do you do this thing is, okay, you decide which row or which column you want to choose. Okay, which row or which column you want to choose. Understand this properly, guys. It's like this is important here, finding the determinants. Gerald, Daniel.
Yes.
Okay, Daniel. Which row or which column you want to consider? You tell me.
And we use A, D, and G.
A, D, and G. Oh, so you're going for column 1, you are saying.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So he wants to go with column 1. How do you find the determinants is, from the column 1, take the first term, A. Write it as it is. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you're going to make this small box here. Small box next to A. Hide the row and the column which has A. Note, this column has A and this row has A. Hide that. I hided that. So you hide the row and the column which has A. I hide it. What am I left with? Let's see here. So when I hide this here, I got this.
You got
E,
E, F, H, and I.
Perfect. Next thing, I'm going to look at my second term of this column, D. I'm going to write my D here. Hide the row and the column which has D. What are you left with?
Okay. You're left with B, C, and H, and I.
Perfect. And the next element was G. What are you left with when you hide the column?
B, C, and E, F.
Perfect. You got this thing. This is a tricky part. Next thing what you're going to do is, you need to make on the side, you can make yourself this thing. This is not the part of the main questions. On the side, you can make a determinant. Start with positive sign, write positive, and keep on writing alternately: positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. Write like this. Remember this. So you start with positive and write like this: positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. This is a rough for you on the side. What you're gonna do is, he considered column 1, right? He considered basically this one.
Mm-hmm.
So from the first term A, he's gonna put a positive sign in front. Then he took D. In front of D, he's gonna put a negative sign. Then he considered G, and there was a positive, so you're gonna put a positive sign in front of G. That's it. And then you calculate this. That's the determinant of 3 by 3. Let's do an example. I want to do an example on this. It looks complicated, but it's easy. It's really easy once you do it. Okay, so you are given 2, -1, 3, -2, 5, 1. You're given 0, 6, -9. You need to find determinant for this thing. And Vandai?
Yes.
Okay, Vandai. I need to find determinant of this thing. How do you find the determinant?
Okay, so I'll choose row 2, -2, 0. So column
that's
1.
Column 1.
Is that column 1?
Yes, column 1.
Column 1.
Okay.
So I would use, so that's A, D, and G. So that's 2. And then
Hide the row and the column.
5,
Yeah.
5, 1, and then 6 and -9.
Absolutely correct. Then what's the second term?
It's -2.
Okay.
And then that is -1, 3, 6, -9.
Perfect. Then
And then the last one is 0. And then it's -1, 3, 5, 1.
perfect. After that, you have to see this sign table. Sign table. What will I put in front of 2? Compare. This 2 came from here.
So it's +2,
Mm-hmm.
-2, and then 0.
Yeah, negative of -2. Because there's a negative and there was -2. So it becomes 2
So
negative.
that's +2
Yes. And then you had positive
and then
0.
0.
Perfect. Now let's calculate. What is this thing? Determinant of this thing.
It is, that's when you start solving it like the other one.
Yeah, first let's solve this determinant here. Forget about this 2 outside. Let's solve this.
Oh, okay. So that means we would do 5 times -9
Mm-hmm.
Plus,
Minus. You
no,
always-
minus
Mhm.
6, -1 times 6.
Absolutely correct. Okay.
So that's 45. That's 45 minus
negative 45.
-45 minus 6.
Which is 2 times.
So 2 times -45. 2 times -45 minus 6, which is -96. Or, oh wait, no, I did that wrong. Whoops. Okay, wait. It's -51. 2 times -51. -102.
Perfect. Let's solve here. Negative makes it
Positive.
positive 2. And let's solve inside. What do you get?
So it's 2 times -1 times -9
Mm-hmm.
minus 3 times 6.
Okay. When you solve, what do
So
you get?
-1 times -9 is 9
Mm-hmm.
minus 18, which is 9. So that's 18.
-9.
-9. Oh, Oops.
Negative 18.
Oh, yeah, negative 9, and then it equals 18.
Yeah.
Negative 18.
Yeah. What about the third one?
So that's 0 times
So
negative
here,
1 times 1.
so here in one die, it's 0 times anything. This whole thing, if you solve, it's 0, right? Whenever you have 0 times something, your answer will always be 0. That's why you don't even have to calculate.
Oh, plus 0. Oh,
Yeah, it's just 0 because 0 times anything is 0. That's why you consider columns and rows which has maximum zeros. It just reduces your calculation. You don't have to calculate this part here. Anything with 0 is just 0. So your answer will be just minus 102 minus 18, which is
100, negative 120.
that's it. That's your determinant.
Dude. And then,
Yeah,
oh,
that's your
do
answer.
I do that x equals dx thing or
No. This is not determinants. Right now we are just talking how to find the determinant of 3 by 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions, anyone? Let's do one more problem here. You have to find the determinant of this thing. You're given 3, 0, negative 1, 4, 6, 2, 8, negative 2, 3. Find the determinant of this thing. Jose?
Yeah,
Okay, Jose. How do you do this one?
we can isolate the second row because it has second column because it has a 0.
Okay, you're taking second column. Okay.
So we would have the first matrix would have 0, 4, 8, or 4, 2, 8, 3.
Okay.
The second one would have 3, 6, 3, negative 1, 8, 3.
Okay. Third one.
The last one would be negative 2, 3, negative 1, 8, 3. Or 2.
3, negative 1. You said 3, negative 1 and then
4 and 2.
4 and 2. Oh, yes, correct. Okay. And then what's the sign with 0?
It'd be negative, but it really doesn't matter because it's 0. And then the 6 would be positive, and then the negative 2 is going to be minus.
Okay, minus. So 0, 1 you don't have to calculate because it's 0. This is going to give you just 0. Let's calculate this one, the next one. How do you calculate 6 times what? Calculate the determinant of this thing.
It's just 0.
Yeah.
And then you'll cross multiply, so you'll have 9 minus or 9 plus 8.
Yeah, okay. Which is basically what? 6 times,
Oh, that's 6 times 17.
which is
You get 102.
okay. Let's solve here. Negative, negative.
That's just a positive 2.
And when you solve,
But
what do you
then-
get?
You cross multiply, so you'll get 6 minus, that's a negative 1, right?
Yeah.
6 plus 4,
Okay.
which is just 24. So you'll get 48.
Perfect. Which is when you solve, what do you get your final answer?
A 150.
Perfect. Perfect. Really good.
Is that 6 plus 4 or 6 times 4?
6 plus 4. So he did, when he cross multiplied, he got 3 times 2, which is 6 he wrote. Then he puts a negative sign. And then he got negative of negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. So that's how he got positive.
So that's 10.
Oh, yes. You're correct.
Oh,
You're correct. Absolutely correct. Thanks for correcting. Yes. So you got 20 here. So your final answer is 122. Thanks for correcting. Yes. Now in last today topic for today is again, now we're going to use Kramer rule for 3 by 3 matrix. So we were using Kramer's rule for 2 by 2 we did before. Now we're going to do for 3 by 3. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. So you are given, suppose you're given, like you'll be given 3 equations now. Ax plus by plus cz is equal to something else.
I got a question on the previous question. Where did you get the 8, 6, and 0? Or
You're talking 8, 6 and 0?
where you got the 0, 6, 2?
Yeah. So he took a column 2. He did this column 2. Okay. What number are you talking about? Which number do you don't understand? Which one?
I'm not understanding why are you using the second column instead of the first one.
Oh, you can consider whatever you want. You will still get the same. Which one do you want to consider?
Because my answer is 82.
Oh, which column did you consider? Which row or column did you consider?
I used the first column.
First column. You said this one, column 1, right? C348, right? Correct, Eduardo? You use this one?
Yeah, I used that one.
You can use any you want. You can consider this, or this row. You consider any one. You're considering this one, correct? Okay, let's see. When you wrote 3, then you got 4, and then you got 8. When you got 3, what did you get the matrix here?
I got 6, 2, negative 2, 3.
What about 4?
For 4, it's 0, 1, negative 2, negative 3.
4, you're going 0, negative 1, negative 2, and 3. What about 8?
And 8's going to be 0, negative 1, 6, 2.
Perfect. What's the sign with 3?
Wait, what?
What's the sign with 3? You have to look at the sign table here. So what will be the sign with 3? 3 is at this place, right?
Yeah.
And what's the sign at that place?
It's going to be plus, minus, plus for the entire thing.
Yeah, so in front of 3 you will put plus, in front of negative 4 you will put minus, in front plus of 8 you will put positive. Correct? Any questions, Eduardo, till here?
No, I'm good.
Okay, let's solve this. 3 times, when you solve the matrix, what do you get? What is 6 times? Solve this matrix and tell me what do you get.
Oh, for that's going to be 18 minus 4.
No. So 18 minus and then minus 4.
18 plus 4.
Yeah.
Sorry.
18 plus 4. When you solve, what do you get?
I got 24. No, 21. No, 22, sorry.
And what is 22 times 3?
Which equals into 54.
22 times 3.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be 3 times 22. So that's going to be
66.
66, sorry.
Okay. And let's do this one. Negative 4 times, when you solve, what do you get here?
That's going to be 4 to 0. Minus 2. Because how the negative 2 and negative 1 cancel each other out.
Yes, correct. Which becomes 2 times negative 4 times negative 2, which is
8.
positive 8. Correct. Let's do the third one. You get 8 times what? Solve the determinant and tell what you get.
and for the other one's going to be 0 plus 6.
Correct. Which is 8 6 is 48. Add all of these three, what do you get?
122, same answer.
Same answer. No matter which row, what column you consider, you will get the same answer. But the reason he took the second one is because that has a 0. When you consider the row or the column which has 0, your calculation becomes easier. Because you don't have to calculate the determinant next to 0, because that's just 0. Anything multiplied by 0 is just 0. I mean, this is correct. The way you're doing, if you're taking this one, is also correct. But it is suggested to take the row or the column with maximum zeros.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I need.
Yeah. Next, we're doing the Cramer's rule for 3 by 3. So you're given this first equation equal to, suppose, C1. Yeah, let me say D1. Okay. Then you have EX plus FY. Gx is equal to D2, and then you're given IY JZ is equal to D3. You are given this thing now. They say you have to solve these equations using Cramer's rule. Solve these equations using Cramer's rule. The same exact method. You have to find your D, you have to find your dx, you have to find your dy. Note there is dz also now. There's 3 variables, x, y and z. So you need to find your both d, dx, dy and dz. Your x is basically dx, we did this, dx divided by d, y is dy divided by d, and z will be dz divided by d. That's how you find your x, y and z. D, again, you have to, how do you find d is coefficient of first equation, coefficient of x, coefficient of y, coefficient of z. X is a, y is b, and z is c. Then second equation, coefficient of x, coefficient of y, coefficient of z. E, F, G. Then coefficient of x again, coefficient of y, and coefficient of z. That's how you get your d. Now you have to find your dx. You have to find your dx. In the d equation, the first one is x, then is y, and then is z. Since I'm finding my dx, only my x column will change. Y and z will still remain the same. So I have b, c, f, g, I, j. Only my x column is going to change to what? The right hand side. It becomes d1, d2, d3. Similarly for dy. Now for dy, my only y column will change. X and z column will still remain the same. And it will change to what? d1, d2, d3, the right hand side. Similarly dz. Only my z column will change. A and x and y column will remain the same. And z will change to the right hand side, which is d1, d2, and you find the value of all these 4 terms and use that in this formula, and you can find the value. Example, let's do an example here. So you're given 2x plus y minus z is equal to 3. Then you're given minus x plus 2y plus 4z is equal to negative 3. Then you're given x minus 2y minus 3z is equal to 4. You have to solve this using Cramer's rule. Alejandro, Axel.
Here, but I'm not understanding it too much.
Is Axel here?
I'm not understanding it too much. Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're very low. I cannot hear you like properly.
I'm here, but I'm not understanding the problem too well.
Okay, it's okay, it's okay. Okay, then you'll help me with the next one, okay? The next example I'm gonna do,
All
you'll
right.
help me with that.
Yeah.
So understand
Alright.
this problem.
Yes.
Jalina? Jalina? Carly? Karen?
Yes.
Okay. Let's say I'm given this equation. You need to solve using Kramer's rule.
Okay. Mm, first, mm,
Let's figure out what my D is. How do you find your D?
D is 2,
Coefficient of X. First equation.
1,
Coefficient of Y.
and -1.
Absolutely correct. So coefficient of X, coefficient of Y, and coefficient of Z from the first equation. Now from the second equation, what do you get coefficient of X?
-1, 2, and 4.
Absolutely correct. What about the third equation?
1, -2, and -3.
Absolutely correct. Now I need to find my dx.
Okay. Dx is 3,
Okay.
3, 1,
Mm-hmm.
and -1.
Okay.
Next, -3,
Mm-hmm.
2, and 4, and 4, -2, and -3.
Absolutely correct. So what she did is, how did she get her dx is, in this equation, in this the original one, the first one is your x, the second one is your y, and third one is your z. The first column represents your x, second represents your y, and third represents your z. Now since you're finding dx, that means my x will change. My dx will change. Everything else will remain exactly the same. So here you have 1, second one will be 1, third one will be -1. Similarly 2, 4, -2, -3. These two rows will still remain the same. Only the first column will change. What will it change to? Your right hand side here. So it becomes 3, -3, and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, what about your dy?
What? Oh, is 2,
Mm-hmm.
3,
Mm-hmm.
and -1,
Yes.
and -3,
-1, -1.
oh yeah, -1, -3,
Mm-hmm.
and 4
Okay. What about the next one?
is 1, 4, and -3.
Absolutely correct. And here you need dz also. Let's find the dz also.
DC is 2, 1, 3.
Okay.
-1, 2, and -3, and 1, -2, and 4.
Perfect. Let's find our d value now. Let's solve this determinant here, this thing. Can you solve this and tell me what answer do you get? Solve this. Which row and column are you considering?
The first.
Row or column?
What?
Are you considering first row or first column?
The first.
Column?
Okay. Yes.
Oh, you're considering this column then, first column. Okay. That makes
Is 2 times -6 minus -8 is 28.
No. Wait. So how did you find that you got this thing, right? 2 times this thing, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And how did you solve this?
Okay. 2, 4, negative 2, and 3, negative 3. Okay. 2 times 2 times negative 3 minus negative 2 times 4.
So what did you get your answer as?
Okay.
You got
2
4.
times 14.
No, why 14? Negative 6, it becomes positive 8, right?
Oh, yeah.
When you solve, what do you get? 2 times 2, which is 4.
Okay.
Okay. Also, what was the sign in front of this term here? This position, what's the sign?
Is
Question.
Yeah.
We're not using the Z, are we? The DZ.
DC, we are using it's here. It's here. It's on the next page.
Okay.
Yeah. We are using DC. Okay. What's the sign in front of 2, Karen?
positive.
Positive. So that's why it remains positive 4. Okay. Let's see the next one. Okay, let's see. Next I have to calculate 2. Next term you are using is negative 1. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the sign in front of negative 1?
Is 1 is negative.
Negative. So it makes it positive 1. Okay. What's the terms here inside?
1, negative 1, negative 2, and negative 3.
Okay, let's solve. What do you get?
Negative 3, 2. Negative 5.
Yes, correct. You get your negative 5 as your answer. That's correct. And what about the third term? You have 1, right? Is a positive or a negative sign?
Is positive.
Okay, and when you solve, what you get? What are the terms inside here with 1?
Is 1, negative 1, negative 1, 2, and 4, no?
Perfect, yes. When you solve, what you get?
4 minus 6.
6. You got plus 6 plus 6. What is 4 minus 5 plus 6?
5.
5. So you got your D as 5. Correct.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you get the numbers are inside of the lines and for the plus 1,
This
minus 1, and plus 1?
Oh, this one? Second one?
How do you get them?
So how do you do it is, see here. So first is this term 2, right? This 2. What you do is, look at the row and the column which has 2. This row has 2, I hide this row. Which column has 2, hide the column which has 2. What are you left with? 2, 4, negative 2, negative 3. That's how she got 2, 4, negative 2, negative 3.
Alright. And what do you do with them after?
And that's you write it and then you have to solve it. Similarly for negative 1. Negative 1 is here. Hide the row and the column which has negative 1. What are you left with? You're left with 1, negative 2, negative 3.
Alright.
Similarly for 1. The row and the column which has 1, hide that, and whatever you're left, you write inside.
Alright.
Next thing you have to simplify. How do you simplify? How do you simplify this thing is, next thing what you're going to do is actually consider the table, this sign table. So you always start with positive, negative, positive, then negative, positive, negative, then positive, negative, positive. So positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. 2 was at this position, so I put a positive sign in front. Negative 1 was at this position, there's a negative, so I put a negative in front of negative 1. 1 was at this position and it was a positive, so I put a positive sign here. Get it, Axel?
Yes.
Do you know how to solve this or no? This determinant.
Hear me?
Do you know how to solve this?
I said there no.
Oh, how do you do it is take the first term 2, multiply with its diagonal element. So
Yeah.
you get 2 times negative 3, which is negative
Negative
6.
6.
Then you will put a minus sign by yourself. You put a minus sign always. Okay. Then you will take the second term, which is 4, and multiply with its diagonal, negative 2. Which comes out to be negative 8. But negative makes it positive.
Positive.
That's how she, and then she got 2 times 2, which is 4. You got it?
What was the last time?
Did you get it? Like, how did she do this? Did you get it?
Oh, yeah, wait. Yes, I see.
Yeah.
Wait,
And-
why is it positive 4? Wouldn't it be negative?
Because
Because it would be
4,
negative 6 plus 2.
negative 6
Wait,
plus,
that's 8. Never mind.
yeah, it's 8. It's 8. Yes.
Alright, I get it.
Yeah. So let's do dx here. So you are given dx. Okay. Your dx was, okay, you're given as 3, 1, negative 1, negative 3, 2, 4, and then 4, negative 2, negative 3. So Axel, I need to find determinant of this thing. Which row, which column you want to consider, you tell me. Axel, take any one you want.
The first row and second column?
You want to consider first row or second column? What are you considering?
The second column.
Okay, you want to consider this one. Okay, that's good. That's good. So first term is 1, right? I write 1
Yes.
and I write the determinant. Hide the row and the column which has 1 and tell me what are you left with?
Negative 3, 4, 4, and negative 3.
4, negative 3. Perfect. Next term is 2. I write 2. Hide the row and the column which has 2 and tell me what are you left with?
3, negative 1, 4, and negative 3.
Perfect. The next term is negative 2. Hide the row and the column and tell me what are you left with?
Negative 3, negative 1, negative 3, and 4.
3, negative 1, and then you're saying negative 3 and 4. Okay, absolutely correct. What's the sign with 1? Look at the sign
Pardon?
table.
It's positive.
Look at the sign table here.
I don't see the same table. Oh, it's negative?
It's negative. So the first term is negative. What about 2? See here, 2 is here and 2 is here.
Positive.
Positive. What about negative 2?
Negative.
Negative. Correct. Now let's solve. So negative 1. I need to solve this here. This one. How do I solve this?
You multiply negative 3 times negative 3
Negative.
and 4 times 4.
Yeah, but you're going to put a minus sign in the middle. So first term with its diagonal minus second term with its diagonal. What do you get?
9. 9.
9, then
16.
positive or negative?
Negative gives is subtraction or
Yes. Negative,
What?
because you always put a negative by yourself
uh,
in the middle. So what do you get? 9 minus 16 is?
9. No, that's gotta be negative 9. Then it'll be 9.
Negative?
It'll be negative 9 and then it'll be positive 9 with a negative 1.
9, no. What is 9 minus 16, Axel?
Negative 9.
Negative 5.
5? Oh, sorry.
Oh, actually not 7, right? What is 16 minus
I was thinking of 18. I'm sorry.
No. What is 9? 6, 7.
Pardon?
7. It's 7. Negative 7. So it comes out to be 7.
It'll be positive 7 with a negative 1.
Yes. Let's see here the next one. Can you tell me how to solve this one? Next one?
It'll be 3 times negative 3.
Yes. And then you,
And 4 times negative 1.
4 times negative 1, but you're going to put a minus sign in the middle by yourself. So what does it become?
Negative 9 minus negative 4.
Negative 9? What is negative 4 times negative 1?
Oh, positive 1.
Yes. And when you solve, you get 2 times.
Pardon?
What do you get? What is negative 9 plus 4?
Oh, negative 5.
Yeah, negative 5. And when you solve, what do you get?
Negative 10.
Correct. Let's do the third one. Negative negative makes it positive, and when you solve, what do you get?
It'll be 3 times 4, and then negative 3 times 1. Negative 1.
Yeah, and then you're going to put a negative sign in the middle, so what do you get? 12 minus
12 minus 3.
Yes, correct. Which is positive 2. What is 12 minus 3?
9.
And what is 9 times 2?
18.
18. When you solve this, 7 minus 10 plus 18, what do you get?
1.
No. Solve
Right.
this.
21.
21.
I would be embarrassed if it was wrong.
15.
I am embarrassed then.
Yeah, it's 15. It's okay. So you got your dx as 15. And you already solved for d, you got as 5. Anybody who did, well, let's see. Eduardo,
Yeah.
did you find dy?
dy?
Yeah.
Wait, good question. How is it 15? It's 7 minus 10 plus 18?
Yes. 7 minus 10 is what?
Oh, no. I was checking. No.
So Eduardo, find me dy.
Yeah, dy is going to be positive. It's going to be plus 1, 1, negative 1, 2, and 4. We multiply those together, which makes us into 4 plus 2.
I need the final answer. The final answer.
Final answer is 6.
dy you find as 6?
Yeah.
No. You did something wrong. Which row or which column did you consider for dy? Which row, which column did you consider, Eduardo, for dy?
Can I see your previous paper real quick?
Here.
Thank you.
Eduardo, which row or which column did you consider?
Oh, wait, I did a mistake there. Then let me write it down.
Okay, yeah, it's okay. Solve and let me know what you get your dy. Check in dy. Shaira,
Yes.
you're gonna give me the value of dz.
Can I see the DZ again?
It's here. Oh, dz, yes. This chapter 11, chapter 10 and 11 is definitely coming in your final exam too. So make sure you're doing this test. Next test is really important. Eduardo, did you find your dy?
Isn't it 0?
Which row or column did you consider? You tell me.
I was using the B, C, E, F.
So which
of
is
dy.
no. Which one are you considering? Which row column? Column 1, column 2, column 3, row 1, row 2, row 3. Which one are you considering?
The row 1.
You're taking row 1. So basically 2, 3, negative 1. That's what you're considering? Correct? Eduardo?
What?
You are considering this one, right? 2, 3, negative 1, right? I cannot hear you, Eduardo.
I'm not understanding what you're saying. Sorry.
So you have to consider a row or a column to find the determinant. Which row or which column are you considering initially? Are you starting with row 1, column 2, column 3? Which one are you starting with?
I'm starting with column 1.
You're taking this one, column 1. Okay. So let's see. 2, and then you have hydrogen column. You get negative 3, 4, 4, negative 3. Then you had negative 1. You get 3, negative 1, 4, negative 3. Then you had 1, which is 3, negative 1, 4, negative 3. And if you put a signs, positive, negative, positive. So it becomes 2. Let's solve. Becomes 9 minus 16, positive 1. Get negative 9 plus 4 plus 1. You get negative 9 plus 4. Did you get till here, Eduardo?
Yeah, I got to y.
See it. Did you get till here, this point? So get 2 times negative 7. 1 times negative 5 is 1 times negative 5.
You know what? I actually did completely different what you've been following. Sorry. My answers are completely different.
Your answers are completely different. How? Where it's wrong?
I included the d regular with the dx, dy, and dz.
dx, dy, dc? Oh, wait. So I don't get it where you went wrong. Let me solve this and I'll explain. You get negative 5 and then you get positive 9, which comes out to be negative 10. So your dx is negative 10. So okay. So you did not even get this here, Eduardo. You are saying this matrix is not the same.
Yeah, the methods are not the same. Sorry.
So this initial matrix is not same for you. Okay. How do you find that is, see at your D. Okay. See at your D here. My D was 2, 1, negative 1, negative 1, 2, 4, 1, negative 2, negative 3. I need to find dy. That, and this is a y term. So my this will change, everything else will remain the same. So my x will be 2, negative 1, 1, which is the same. My y will be negative 1, 4, negative 3, which is the same. Only my y will change. Y will change to what? D1, D2, D3. It changes to 3, negative 3 and 4. Are you getting it how I got it, Eduardo, or no?
Sorta.
So basically, whatever you have in the original D and whatever you're finding like dx, so hide the x column, everything remains the same, only the x will change to your right hand side. If you're finding dy, hide the y, everything else will remain the same, only the y column will change to your right hand side. If you're finding dz, your z column you hide, this will remain the same, only z will change to 3, negative 3, 4. whatever you are finding, dx, dy or dz, whatever you are finding, that column changes, everything else remains the same. If you're finding dx, x column will change. If you're finding dy, y column will change. If you find dz, or z column will change. Shaira, did you find your dz?
Was it 5?
Yes, correct. You are correct. 5. Anybody who did not get their dz as 5? Joshua?
Yeah.
I need to find the value of x, y, and z. How do I find x, y, and z?
So x is dx over d, which is 15 divided by 5.
Which is?
3.
Okay. And dy? Or y, sorry.
Negative y divided, or negative 10 divided by 5, which is negative 2.
Divided by d, which you are saying negative 10 divided by 5, which is negative 2. Okay. dz, or sorry, z?
Is 5 divided by 5, and that's 1.
5 divided by 5, which is 1. So your answer is 3, negative 2, and 1. Really good, Joshua. It's a long method for finding this thing, but when it comes in your exam, which will be in your final exam, in your next test, and your final exam, this question is worth at least 10. At least 10 points is just this question by itself. And you will get a question in your final exam and in your test to solve Cramer's rule, to use Cramer's rule in 3 by 3. So you'll be given 3 equations. You have to find dx, dy, dz and find the value of x, y and z using Cramer's rule. Any questions, anyone? So basically this week, so far whatever we did, you will have your quiz tomorrow for chapter 10 and chapter 10 I already took. Chapter 11. You will have your quiz of chapter 11 tomorrow, and on Thursday you will have an exam for chapter 10 and chapter 11. I repeat, tomorrow you will have quiz for chapter 11. Basically you're gonna get 1 question of elimination, 1 question of substitution method, and 1 of using Cramer's rule. These are the 3 things you're gonna get. 1 question from elimination, 1 from substitution, 1 from Cramer's rule. Definitely you're getting these 3 problems, 1 from each. And in your final exam also, in your test and final exam also, you will get 1 questions like this. And for quiz. Any doubt, anyone? No?